They're going to MC for us.
Hey, thank you for coming. I want you to know that the organizing of this event reflects the great diversity of this entire community. And all of those voices need to come together, asking for a ceasefire immediately, a release of all Palestinian and Israeli hostages, all of them, not just a few. An immediate stop to U.S. weapons to Israel, that $5 billion that just happened, and that the United States Senate follow its own laws, the Leahy Law on military aid. That there be a free flow of humanitarian aid to Palestinians in Gaza, a free flow and not truck by truck. Tons and tons and tons going in. And that we become part of the rebuilding that we have caused to be destroyed. That we end Israel's military occupation of Palestine. End the occupation, end the occupation, end the occupation, end the occupation. An immediate end to the siege imposed on Gaza by land, sea, and air. Free Gaza now! Free Gaza now! Free Gaza now! Gaza now! An immediate stop to the genocide of Palestinians. Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! And we want a free and liberated Palestine. Whoa! Free Palestine! So thank you, all of you, for coming out today. We are actually awaiting some of our speakers who were coming from up near Patterson to join us. But we want to get this going, so we're going to do a few more chants. Few more chants, and then we'll start with our speakers. So, who's going to... Matt, Jules? You want another round?
No, we do.
You got another? You got another? What?
Would love to hold our representatives accountable. Cory Booker, you can't hide!
Cory Booker, you can't hide!
You support genocide!
You support genocide!
Cory Booker, you can't hide!
Cory Booker, you can't hide!
You support genocide!
You support genocide!
Chris Smith, you can't hide!
Chris Smith, you can't hide!
You support genocide!
You support genocide!
Chris Smith, you can't hide!
Chris Smith, you can't hide!
You support genocide!
You support genocide!
Frank Malone, you can't hide!
Frank Malone, you can't hide!
You support genocide!
You support genocide!
Frank Malone, you can't hide!
Frank Malone, you can't hide!
You support genocide!
You support genocide!
Biden, you can't hide!
Biden, you can't hide!
You support genocide!
You support genocide!
Biden, you can't hide!
Biden, you can't hide!
You support genocide!
You support genocide!
Free Palestine!
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 We're gathered here on federal property, but our city council, our city government, for us in Asbury Park, is across the street. And we would like all of you to know that there's been a concerted citizens group that has been speaking with the city council asking for them to consider a ceasefire now resolution. And we thank the representatives from the council who have been in those conversations with us and have been very good listeners. So hopefully in the coming weeks, we will have Asbury Park signing on to those communities in New Jersey and across the country which have already signed a ceasefire now agreement. Because one by one, the message has to keep being delivered, not only to Washington, but to the world, that we don't want any more killing, bombing, children without food, and schools and places of safety, people without water, without medicine. This is inhumane. Stop the genocide.
Children without parents. Children without parents.
Yes, and all of those children who will be living without their parents because of the bombs and the snipers and the destruction which has happened throughout Gaza. And not only, friends, in Gaza, it's happening in the West Bank now. And if we think it's going to stop at the Gaza border, we're wrong. We have to stop this madness. We have to, and we as Americans have to keep saying, we will not fund this kind of destruction and inhumanity. It is time to stop. This is no longer self-defense. This is vengeance. It is worse than war. It is a desire to destroy a people. And it's got to stop.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide. From that talk.
So while we're waiting for my good colleagues from the Palestinian American Community Center up in Clifton, New Jersey to arrive, I think we're going to start with our speakers. And so we're going to have a slightly rearranged order, and when the PACC folks arrive, then we will get going. And so I'm looking over at you, Muata, and would you like to go first?
Muata Greene!
So tell everybody who you are and who you represent.
My name is Muata Greene. I represent Veterans for Peace, which is a national organization. We originally came out of Veterans Against the Vietnam War, and every war since then we were against. And we're veterans, we know the deal. You know what I mean? Because when I was a Vietnam vet, I was drafted right out of high school. After that, they eliminated the draft. It wasn't because I got caught up in the gun-hole BS, but I was drafted. So therefore, we take a stand against wars and the cause of wars. And we have things that we organize around the country around that. And I'm proud to be down here, part of the Asbury community, to be part of help organizing that. Originally, I'm from New York and up north and stuff, but I've been down here. And I want to say a few words about what the Veterans for Peace is about. The main thing, the statement first, we are veterans who hereby affirm a greater responsibility to serve the cause of the world peace. To this end, we will work with others both nationally and internationally. Number one, to increase public awareness of the causes and costs of war. Number two, restrain our government from intervening overtly and covertly in the internal affairs of other nations. Three, to resist racism, repression in our home and our communities. To oppose the militarization of law enforcement. 5, to end the arms race and to reduce and eventually eliminate nuclear weapons. 6, to seek justice for veterans and victims of war. And 7, and not the end, to abolish war as an instrument of national policy. And we stand with that as veterans, and we know the deal. This ain't like I read about it like that. This is what real and what happens. And me as an older veteran, I'm here to be proud to stand in front of the people and say, we the people must make it happen, because we swear on the Constitution, and the first words are, we the people. Not we the government, not we the flag, not we the president. We the people. Peace now in Palestine. We the people will make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Muata. We're also very fortunate this afternoon to have Katie Helper with us. Katie? Okay. Please come forward. Katie, I'm going to have you introduce yourself, but Katie is also a member of Jewish Voice for Peace.
Thank you. Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming out. I am indeed a member of Jewish Voice for Peace. I also host 2 podcasts, and I was fired from one of my jobs because I made a video calling Israel an apartheid state. So, the truth. Not to brag or anything. But okay, so forgive me, I'm reading off my phone, but for over 6 months, Israel has been engaging in a genocidal onslaught against the people in the besieged territory of Gaza. Illegally limited food aid, bombing hospitals and residential neighborhoods, widespread destruction of schools, refugee camps, and other civilian infrastructure. The official death toll at 34,000 is almost certainly an undercount. Over 14,000 children have been killed, and many, many more have been maimed and traumatized. Patients, including children, are enduring amputations without anesthesia. Just think about that for a second. A term has been invented by doctors in Gaza, WCNSF, Wounded Child No Surviving Family. Journalists are being targeted because they are documenting Israel's crimes against humanity. In December, cameraman Samir Abu Daka was shot by the IDF. He could have survived the shooting, but the Israelis forbade the medics from reaching him. They even shot to death a medic who tried to. So this journalist was forced to bleed to death over the course of hours. This is a war crime. Journalists aren't just killed in the line of duty as they report, they are also targeted with their families as they sleep. And it's also writers and poets who are being targeted. We all remember the assassination of poet and professor Rafat al-Arir, also back in December. Well, Israel just this week killed Rafat's daughter, her husband, and her 2-month-old child, Rafat's grandchild, in an airstrike. How has the United States government responded to Israel's actions? In addition to the regular $3.8 billion in military aid to Israel, the Biden administration has been approving arms sales and ferrying through additional military aid packages. Over $14 billion in November, another $26 billion was just approved by the House this week. The U.S. Does anyone have a tissue? I'm really sorry. A napkin or a tissue? Thank you so much. Sorry about that. They're new. Great. Thank you. See, solidarity. Thank you. Okay. The U.S. government stopped funding the largest aid organization in Palestine, UNRWA, the United National Relief and Work Agency for Palestine Refugees, based on lies put out by Israel that were debunked about this organization. After the lies were exposed as lies, other governments had the decency to reinstate funding of UNRWA, but not our government. They doubled down and have stripped this life-saving agency of funding for an entire year. Our government has vetoed multiple UN Security Council resolutions demanding an immediate ceasefire, only reducing it to an abstention, allowing it to pass late last month, and then lying and stating it was a non-binding resolution. I want to read an exchange between a reporter and a State Department spokesman. Reporter, evidence at Gaza mass graves show torture and signs of being buried alive. Palestinians called for an independent investigation. What's wrong with that? State Department, we're asking Israel. Reporter, you're asking the accused to accuse itself? State Department, we're asking Israel. Luckily, the people, if not our government, are on the right side of history. They're shutting down bridges, holding rallies, speaking out so eloquently. They are speaking out so fearlessly at Biden campaign events that the president has been forced to hide from his own constituency, which is probably better for him, honestly. So he doesn't have to talk more about how his uncle was, "You're projecting!" Now Biden can talk less about how his uncle was apparently eaten by cannibals. I don't know if you've heard that. So we're doing him a favor by shutting him up. And now we're seeing nonviolent encampments on college and university campuses across the country. President Baroness Shafiq asked the New York Police Department to arrest anti-war demonstrators encamped on the Columbia University lawn. New York Police Chief John Chell disputed Shafiq's description of the protesters as a clear and present danger, saying the police found the students peaceful and cooperative. When you're out policing the NYPD, you have a problem. Nonetheless, over 100 were arrested. Instead of quieting the demands, the protests have grown. Over 100, including faculty, were arrested Monday night at New York University, and the protests have spread to Yale, Harvard, the University of Michigan, Minnesota, Texas, more. I don't even have the latest. And we even had a sniper. Did you hear this? There was a sniper spotted on the top of a building, I believe in Ohio. The media's coverage of these protests has put much focus on the theme of anti-Semitism and Jewish safety. These protests, virtually all with heavy Jewish presence, have been smeared as anti-Semitic. The New York Times decried virulent anti-Semitism at the Columbia protest, while protesters held a Passover Seder within the protests. That's how anti-Semitic it is. That's how unsafe it is that Jewish students are celebrating Shabbat and Passover. Anti-Semitism is real and must be combated. But what we are seeing is not anti-Semitism, because anti-Semitism is not anti-Zionism. And anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. In fact, those who conflate the two are the anti-Semites. They're the ones engaging in the anti-Semitic dual loyalty trope, which suggests that all Jews are a monolith who all blindly support Israel. Think about the people who use the term Jew and Zionist interchangeably. They're raging anti-Semite, David Duke types, KKK types, and then the government of Israel, and the ADL and AIPAC. You know, if you're getting your talking points from the KKK, something's wrong. And many Zionists themselves are anti-Semitic. Some Christian Zionists want us Jews to go back to Israel, where a few hundred of us will be allowed to accept Christ as our Lord and Savior, and the rest will burn for all of eternity. So thanks, but no thanks. Okay. For many Jews, myself included, our Jewish identity and Jewish values compel us to speak out and act for Palestine. The lesson of the Holocaust is never again for anyone. How can we, as people who survived pogroms and genocide, side with those committing pogroms and genocide right now? This is truly a betrayal of our history and our values. It is an abomination, and it is shameful, and it makes a mockery of the Holocaust. And conflating anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism makes a mockery and trivializes the fight against anti-Semitism. If you care about Jewish safety, be up in arms about how the Jewish protesters are being treated. They, along with their Palestinian brothers and sisters, and fellow protesters of all backgrounds, are being banned from their own campuses, expelled, evicted, and brutalized by the police. If you care about Jewish safety, you should also be up in arms, as I am, about how Israel, far from making Jews safer, puts us in danger by broadcasting their crimes and saying they're acting in the names of Jews, but not in our name, not in my name. What's happening to students here who are standing in solidarity with the people of Gaza, of course, pales in comparison to what's being done to the people in Gaza, but there is a connection. That's why Biden, as he sends arms to Israel, brags about being a Zionist, also supports the draconian attacks on students. That's why Netanyahu recorded a video saying anti-Semitism on campuses in the United States is reminiscent of what happened in German universities in the 1930s. How dare this monstrous genocidal leader who is calling for police repression and a crackdown on free speech compare those fighting against genocide to Nazis? Woo! Many have noted that fascism is colonialism turned inwards. And there is no question that the war in Palestine is a colonial war. Just look at the rhetoric and actions of the Israeli government. So we must fight against fascism here at home and fight against colonialism in Palestine. Alongside our brothers and sisters, our Palestinian brothers and sisters and other allies for peace and justice, the battle to stop ethnic cleansing has been multiracial, multicultural, intergenerational, and is only growing. Jews in the United States have not been silent. Hundreds with Jewish Voice for Peace and organizations such as If Not Now came out immediately to demand a ceasefire. And it was this week, it's Passover, which is a holiday of freedom and liberation. And we know that none of us are free until all of us are free. So, as a human being and as a Jew, I say never again is now. Free Palestine, and shame on Israel and shame on the United States. You have blood on your hands.
Katie, thank you so much for that courageous statement. Woo! I now have the great honor, and I mean honor, of introducing members of the Palestinian American Community Center from Clifton, New Jersey. Some of you may know that there is a whole section of the Patterson-Clifton area known as Little Palestine. And the Palestinian American Community Center is now celebrating 10 years of their vision, their witness, their education about Palestine, about Palestinian culture, their celebration of all things Palestinian: art, food, dance, music, and the deep, deep tradition of honoring freedom and people living on the land. So I am going to introduce someone I have come to know over the last couple of months as an amazing leader and someone who helped us shape this event today. So, Basma Basharat and your colleague from PACC, welcome to Asbury Park.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Free, free Palestine!
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 Thank you to everyone that came today, and thank you for the warm welcome, Catherine. I hope that I am up to it. I am the Palestine Education Director at PAC. I actually started this year, but I was a part of PAC my whole life, and I am a Palestinian American who spent my life visiting Palestine and seeing firsthand what happens there. Today, I join you from PAC and from Clifton. I'm here as a community member, as an ally, and as a friend, and as one of so many of you, as a person of conscience here standing together in the name of justice. This week, we have marked and gone past 200 days of an unrelenting, oppressive, violent genocide against Gaza, against all of Palestine, and in fact, now it has reached our own universities. As we reflect on this grim reality, we cannot allow ourselves to become desensitized or to turn away from the daily atrocities faced by Palestinians throughout Palestine, that include the ongoing massacres in Gaza, that include the recent disturbing discoveries of mass graves deliberately concealed by the Israeli military. Imagine, even in death, Palestinian bodies have been unearthed with organs stolen and harvested from them. Families are desperately searching body parts in attempts to just be granted proper burials. In North Gaza, 700,000 Palestinians are grappling with the outbreak of infectious disease, compounding the already dire humanitarian crisis in the area. And as we've all been hearing, the long-awaited threat of ground invasion in the densely populated area of Rafah is apparently now beginning. As Israel continues to deny desperately needed humanitarian aid, many Palestinians have been turning to fundraising through GoFundMes as they make the difficult decision to try and evacuate their homes in Gaza. Today, we stand here to demand that the Asbury Park City Council join the growing call for a desperately needed ceasefire in Gaza. But I urge each and every one of you to remember the core issues here. We want a ceasefire today, but that is not enough. The recent deadly raid on the Nur Shams Tulkarem camps that resulted in the loss of 14 Palestinians stands as a stark reminder of the brutality perpetuated by the Israeli occupation forces. The Lemkin Institute for Genocide Prevention has issued an active genocide alert across the West Bank, reinforcing what Palestinians and allies have been emphasizing since the current onslaught began, that the issue we're facing did not begin this year. It may have been recently heightened, but the root causes of this violence have been ongoing. For 76 years and beyond, since the movement to establish the Zionist State of Israel began, Palestinians have been targeted and attacked, as the State of Israel has long been ethnically cleansing the people in its campaign for total control of Palestine. Not only is this apparent throughout Palestine, but the oppressive and brutal response by university administrations here in the U.S. in response to peaceful protesting by university students stands as a testament to what we all should remember. The hands of violent empires extend well beyond Israel. The inhumane and violent efforts to silence our students is proof of just how important our fight is. We are up against an empire of corruption and injustice. But despite the immense challenges we're facing, the resilience of the Palestinian people remains unwavering and serves as a guiding beacon to the rest of us. In the last few days, we have all been moved and awe-inspired by college students that are standing for justice. The people of Gaza are seeing it. They are seeing us. And they are telling us not to give up. They are telling us to keep going. While we mourn the lives lost and acknowledge 200 days of an ongoing and horrific genocide, we recognize that we are also 200 days into awakening the world. We are awakening the world to the plight of Palestine. We are 200 days into a relentless fight for justice, dignity, and freedom, not only for Palestine, but for all of us. As we stand in solidarity, we call upon the international community to heed our collective voices and take action to end the genocide and occupation of Palestine. End the occupation now. We call upon local institutions like the Asbury Park City Council to join the fight and stand on the right side of history. The time for justice is now, and we will not rest until Palestine is free. Thank you.
Freedom now! Free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Hi, I think you're going to lead us in a cheer, aren't you? Here you go.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you. I wanna start out with the classic. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free Gaza.
Free, free Gaza.
Free, free, free Gaza.
Free, free, free Gaza.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
We will free Palestine
We will free Palestine
within our lifetime.
within our lifetime.
We will free Palestine
We will free Palestine
within our lifetime.
within our lifetime.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
From the river to the sea,
From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, let's lift another yell and an applaud for the folks from the Palestinian American Community Center. They have an amazing website, by the way, and on that website is a toolkit, which is about Palestinian advocacy, and I would recommend that you go to PACC and look it up. It's terrific. I would like now to invite Catherine and Daisy to come forward. There they are. Catherine. Another Catherine. Okay, well, introduce yourselves and yourself and your mom, and tell us something about yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine. My mom is a little shy, so she's in the back. I just want to say that as a Muslim, I am so happy and blessed to see so many Americans, so many people from different nationalities, because I have been attending Palestinian protests since I've been in middle school, and we always see people, Muslims. I believe that regardless of how the media tries to change the narrative into anti-Semitism, holy war, or racists, or people that are against the Jewish people, this is not the truth. And I am happy that I see so many people who can see the truth. Yes, speak the truth. As a Muslim, we are not against the Jewish people. This has nothing to do with the Jewish. This is against the Zionists. So I want to make sure that we get that clear. That's all I want to say.
Daisy, come up here so we can just recognize you. Come on. Daisy, as your daughter has so wonderfully said, part of why we gather here is for a free Palestine, is to free Gaza, but it is also to end discrimination. It is also to end on the anti-Muslim bias, which is so deep in this country, and call an end to Islamophobia. And we are here with you in that. And we love you all.
Hi, my name is Betty. I'm Spanish Muslim, and like my daughter said, yes, we just come here to know, I'm happy, and to let the world know that this is not against Jews, this is against the genocide that is happening in Palestine, and it's not something new. It's been for so many years, but what's happening right now, seeing videos with so many deaths without a head, is horrific, and thank you. We cannot stop until Palestine is free, and this genocide has to stop, and we have to let the government to stop funding Israel crimes. That's what we need. No more money for Israel crimes. That's what we have to tell Biden. No more money.
One of the things that's happened throughout Palestine is land theft. Israel was created after the Second World War and the Holocaust for sanctuary. But it didn't become a shared land. It became a system of continuing to grab land to enlarge a Zionist project. We who are Americans also need to understand that that lies deep in our history too. Yep. And that we are standing on unsurrendered land of the Lenape people, and specifically, that's right, and specifically the Sandhill people. So as we call on the world to be about freeing Palestine, we need also, as Americans, to look deeply into our history and understand that we have a responsibility not only to repent, but we have a responsibility for reparation. And that is part of the Palestinian project as well. And Palestinians remind us of this all the time when we go visit there. Some of you have signs that say Zionism is apartheid. Others of you have been talking about how becoming anti-Zionist doesn't mean that you are anti-Semitic. And so in the spirit of that, I would like to invite another one of our Jewish partners and allies to come forward and to speak.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm part of Jersey Shore Food Not Bombs and various, yes, right over here, and some various anti-Zionist Jewish and queer organizations. I'm very grateful to be here today, and it's very inspiring to see all of you out here. You look beautiful. We acknowledge this land upon which we gather to resist the colonization and occupation of Palestine is the traditional territory of the Lenni Lenape, called Lenape-Hoking. From Lenape-Hoking to Palestine, we stand in solidarity with indigenous people who continue to face colonial violence under imperialism. We stand in solidarity with people across the world resisting at least 9 genocides happening today across the world. In Gaza, in Congo, Sudan, Ethiopia, Nagorno-Karabakh, West Papua New Guinea, ethnic genocide of Uyghurs in China, Myanmar, hate crimes against Black and Indigenous people worldwide, queer and trans siblings and youth and all oppressed people. This week, yes. This week, Jews around the world continued the tradition of gathering for Seders. To those celebrating Passover, I want to wish you Chag Sameach. This year, more than ever, many of us are continuing to fight for liberation and freedom for all. Also this week, Amnesty International concluded that the international system is collapsing. despite the promise that it would happen never again. Israel is pretending that international law either has no meaning or does not apply to them. The outcome is the weakening of the Geneva Convention, of the Genocide Convention, of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the International Court of Justice. The Security Council is completely useless. I'm going to take a deep breath because it's hard to say this. It is. As the grandchild of a Holocaust survivor, as Holocaust survivors, I refuse to allow the Holocaust to be weaponized against the Palestinians. The systems I just named were meant to prevent genocide, and they are eroding in front of our eyes. And this is terrifying. Despite this, Zionists around me believe unwavering support for Israel ensures Jewish safety and are continuing that they are conflating protest with anti-Jewish sentiment. Let me be clear, it is out of and not in spite of my Jewish values and family history and my actual Holocaust education that I am anti-war and anti-occupation. We were taught to ask questions. We were taught to be critical. We were taught tikkun olam, which is Hebrew for repairing the world. We were taught to celebrate Passover, which is about freedom and liberation. We were taught you shall love. Chant intermission, right? Thank you. It's okay, I'm a teacher, so if you can hear me, clap twice. Thank you. Okay, so back to my Zionist education. We were taught you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The Jewish organization called If Not Now organized a Freedom for All Seder. If you're interested in Seders, you can look this up. If Not Now's Freedom for All Seder. They reframed the word Yisrael or Israel in the blessings. When we say the word Yisrael in the blessings, or we tell of the Israelites when we celebrate Passover this week, we are not referring to the modern state of Israel. Rather, we are connecting to our history as a people who embrace mysteries and contradictions, with the traditions we inherit, with systems of power, and with injustice. You can even extend this to be one who wrestles with God. We say if our freedom is dependent on the oppression of another people, we will never truly be free. I grew up hearing the phrase never again, but we must say never again for anyone. Last summer, I went to Poland and I walked through Auschwitz and the Nazi munitions factory that my grandmothers and my great-aunt were imprisoned in. I have been doing research about my family's history so that I can teach about it to fight anti-Semitism and hate, all while being told I am anti-Semitic. When I was in college, I was in Students for a Just Peace, which preceded Students for Justice in Palestine. I went to the West Bank and witnessed the occupation with my own eyes. A Palestinian I met in Hebron said the most important thing you can do is to go back to America, tell them what you learned in the West Bank, tell them that Palestinians just want peace, tell them that we are not terrorists. I joined their weekly action in Berlin at the apartheid wall. I went with Israeli women and their cameras to a military checkpoint. We were recording the abuses there. I went with Rabbis for Human Rights and Israeli Coalition Against Home Demolition, and we sat with families trying to simply protect their homes. The work between Palestinians and Israelis was and is inspiring. Now, moving forward, we can listen to the decades-long call from Palestinians to join the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. You can even take out your phone right now, go to your app store, you can download the app called No Thanks. There's also a website called Disoccupied. It will help you make ethical choices with the things you buy. Okay, I'm going to switch gears and talk a little bit about food and connect you with Food Not Bombs. Where'd the banner go? I was about to point to it. Okay, where that banner was. Okay. Okay, so switching gears a little bit. So food blockades are being used as a war tactic, and this is leading to mass starvation in Gaza. We are capable of feeding each other, but the U.S. government and military only address crisis with violence. And even with that, they waited 6 months to drop aid, and still they failed at that. What has been sustaining me through this nightmare is to stay in close communication and mutual support with my friend in the West Bank. She wants me to extend this message to you all. She appreciates you. She loves you for anyone standing for Palestine and speaking the truth. She said, keep fighting, and that they watch us. They see that the support is there and here, and we should continue. We support the students at the 40 plus universities in America that have set up encampments. We see how the violent arrest of an Emory professor highlighted police brutality in Georgia, where Cop City is being built. Not surprising. They think they are suppressing us when actually this is radicalizing even more people, and more people are coming into the streets. In the Jewish tradition, you must not mourn alone, and I think this is an important reminder for us all. In fact, we need to gather 10 adults in order to say the prayer for mourning. So to wrap up this speech, I'll share with you how we would wrap up a service. So we extend our prayers for the wounded who are dying from preventable diseases, starvation, and dehydration. You can even take a moment now, if this feels comfortable for you, close your eyes. If you want to think of people we wish for a whole healing, whole body, whole mind, and spirit. We're sending our prayers of healing for a whole and full healing to those that are wounded. We're also praying for the martyrs, the loss of life in Palestine and Israel. May their memories be for a blessing. Free Palestine, let Gaza live.
Okay, we have a few more speeches. Mary.
Hi everybody, my name's Mary Von Owie. I've been a journalist for a little over a decade. I have lived in Palestine, I have lived in Jordan, I have traveled through the area as a journalist, and I would like to share with you one of the worst tactics that Israel enacts to distract people from what they're doing, and that is pinkwashing. So last year, the United States Marine Corps put a photo on the internet to celebrate Pride Month, and it was, I kid you not, a military helmet with rainbow-colored bullets. As though rainbow bullets save the lives of LGBTQ communities that are being colonized, oppressed, and murdered. The only thing is, those very rainbow-colored bullets are the ones colonizing, oppressing, and murdering queer communities overseas. If you don't know what's called, pinkwashing is an effective tool for Israel and the United States to deflect the atrocities and war crimes that they're committing by exploiting the pain of queer communities to justify their overseas work. Israel and the United States have convinced us that they're saving LGBTQ lives from places that we colonize when they won't even save the lives of queer communities here. Right. Zionists tell you that Israel is a haven for gays, when in fact, the Israeli government still does not recognize same-sex marriage. In 2024, two people of the same sex still can't legally marry in Israel. But politicians wear their little rainbow flags and they think we won't notice. It's time we notice. In 2009, I lived in Palestine. In 2010, I lived in Jordan, working with Palestinian, Syrian, and Iraqi refugees. After that, I spent time in Lebanon and Turkey as a journalist, and I wrote about queerness in Lebanon. Before I moved there, people told me it wasn't safe in the Middle East for people like me. I was told that women and femmes were assaulted, that gays were murdered, that I would be looking over my shoulder every day because a Muslim might attack me for who I am. It is a lie. Zionists wanted me to fear for my life so I wouldn't notice all the lives that they were taking. In 2009, I was a teacher, and one of my students was a boy named Jihad al-Jafari. He hoped to become a chef, and years later he studied hotel management with plans to do just that. But in 2015, when Jihad was only 19 years old, he was murdered by an Israeli soldier. The IDF raided Dahisha refugee camp in the middle of the night. They broke into Jihad's home and brought him and his brother to their roof. They accused him of throwing stones earlier that day. And then they shot and killed him in cold blood in front of his little brother and his mother. This beautiful boy that I once knew is dead. He's murdered for being a teenage boy, for being a Palestinian teenage boy. But the government is going to tell me that his death makes me safer? I never feared for my life living with Palestinians the way I fear for my life here. According to the FBI's federal crime report, last year there was a 13.8% increase in hate crimes based on sexual orientation here in the United States. It gets even worse. There was a 32.9% increase. 32.9% increase in hate crimes in the United States against people of a different gender identity, or crimes based on someone's gender identity. They are murdering queer and transgender people here while murdering innocent children in Palestine. And then the government says they did it for us? The government doesn't protect us here. They have never protected us here. Why do they think we'll believe them when they say they'll protect us overseas? I speak to my former students in the West Bank every day, just to check in, just to make sure they're still alive. My student Osama is a teacher, and he lost one of his students to the IDF in November. Israeli settlers are encroaching more and more in the West Bank, and they're encouraged to act violently to drive Palestinians out. I was talking to one of my former students, Murad, who still lives in the West Bank, and yesterday he gave me this message to share with everyone that I'm going to read. Murad said, "After today, I don't want to just thank you. I want to tell you that you are part of us." Free! Free Palestine!
Free! Free Palestine!
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 Thanks, everybody. I'm gonna share what Murad said to me. He said, "After today, I don't just want to thank you. I want to tell you that you are part of us because you expose yourself to the dangers of oppression for the sake of our justice. You are fighters now. You are Palestinians now, and you're our last true hope. If the matter remained in the hands of the government alone, there would not be a single Palestinian left in the land of Palestine." And he's right about that. We are the ones still standing up to the government here. We are the ones still trying to hold them accountable. We can't let them dupe us into thinking they protect LGBTQ here when they murder our communities overseas. Palestine needs us, but we also need Palestine. We are in this together. We owe it to Palestine and we owe it to ourselves to protect one another. And we cannot back down.
Thank you, Mary. Ty. Ty? Oh, there you are.
What I'd like to say is every person here is valuable. Every life on this planet is valuable, or you would not be placed here on this planet. How does somebody decide that war has now changed? War is no longer you sit in a row, you put your gun on the eyes of someone and you take their lives. Now, war is waged by a button or algorithm that a missile comes through a family's dinner table home and destroys not just the guilty person, but everyone down to their children. There are families there that have lost 100 family members. Let's say this all together. Above the rubble.
Above the rubble.
What's below the rubble?
What's below the rubble?
The secrets of war. We have to look at the only winners of any war are the arms dealers. And the greatest arms dealers are America and Israel. They are showing the weapons that they're using now and taking the effectiveness of those weapons, videotaping them, and then sending them out to the countries that determine that their enemies have to die in that same way. I stand here representing those representatives of the apartheid analogistic aspect of death in America. The fact that we have somebody that can define us, and we are steadfast, ready to defend that title, that definition. Who here is not a human being? Who here did not come from a mother? Who here does not have a right to exist? Palestine has a right to exist. And our voice should never be the guilty party to push the button and exterminate anyone. Not in our name. Not in our name. Not in our name. Not in our name.
There is someone here who has been working on the uncommitted uncommitted ballot initiative. Is he still here? Oh, maybe he's, I don't see him. Okay, he may have gotten, the sign's not here, so I think he's left. So if you are one of those individuals who wants to know more about the uncommitted movement, I suggest you start doing a little bit of wandering around the internet and see that as one option for how you can express your voice in the upcoming primary about Palestine. Woo! Woo! Woo!
Is Matt Daniels next?
I'm sorry, what? Is it Matt's turn? We're almost there. I was going to, I think did Basma just leave? She was Basma, has Basma left? I think they had. I was going to ask them if they wanted to come up one more time and say something before we ended. So we are just about done, and I'm going to ask Matt, who is one of our organizers, to come. Thank you, and Derek, who's in the plaid shirt in the middle. Another one of our organizers, if you would like to leave your contact information and become part of a larger community that will continue to protest, which will continue to work on ceasefire, which will seek a free Palestine and work on justice, please leave your contact information and we'll be in touch with you. And now I'm turning it over to Matt for the final word.
Don't respond, y'all. Don't respond. People will drive by and they're not here doing the work that you're doing for their cause. Yeah, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of patience to do the work that we're doing for our cause. And if someone wants to co-opt that, we will not let them co-opt that. All right? We stand united here. We stand united here. It reminds me to speak of the encampments that are going on not only across this country, not only across this country, but in 6 different countries. And some of those images that we've seen, that are as horrific as they can be. One of those images that I've seen is one of the encampments locking arms, right? We lock arms and we unify. And they do it so that they cannot be taken away from it. But, let me finish that statement. They cannot be taken away from it by police that are trying to take them away from it. But within that, looking at that, I believe there's a deeper picture and a deeper message. And that deeper message is that this is all interconnected. That everything that we are doing is connected from here to Palestine, from this sort of democracy, quote unquote, that we have here, to what's going on in Gaza. When we pay our taxes, as I will assume, I'll just assume, don't tell me, don't one say anything, don't one say any words here, all right, that we all do, when we pay our taxes, and we ask for health care, we ask for better infrastructure, we ask for our houseless to have shelter with these dollars that we pay. And instead, they go and they fund the murder of men, women, and children and people over in Gaza. Well, it's very hard to not see this as interconnected. But I know that I have heard many a time, what does this have to do with us here? What are we doing here? Why are we here? We are here because we are human. Free Palestine. That's right. People that drive by, that see this plight, that see this cause, and that yell out, Free Palestine, they do it because they are human and because they are in touch with their humanity and they realize the humanity of those that are suffering over in Gaza. Now, it is important for me to state, although not easy by any means, that we need as many humans as we can get here. It is very hard, it is very arduous, it is very frustrating to go over to someone like that on that corner and try to talk to them. Do I know that they're wrong? Hell yeah, I know they're wrong. Hell yeah, I know they're wrong as hell now. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Let me stop. I know they're wrong as hell. But, they're human? Do they see the humanity? I do not think they do. I do not think they see the humanity of themselves, and I do not think they see especially the humanity of Palestinians. It is our job as the people that have attended this rally, that do the work, that once we're done with this rally, our work is not over. It's not done. It can't be. It didn't start here. It doesn't end here.
Right.
To connect. To live the truth. Don't connect in falsities. Don't capitulate. Don't step off of what you know is right. But for so long, we couldn't even have this conversation. For so long, we have been silenced. And to that, we say no more. To that, we say enough is enough. Enough is enough. We will have these conversations. We will take action. We will hold our leaders accountable for the money that they send over to Israel and for wasting our time. Since I have this beautiful demographic in front of me, thank you two very much. And I would like everyone here to read this demographic and to read these signs, because I know that I am still learning and that history is deep, and that if we're not open to learning, if we don't open our minds to the fact that we need to educate ourselves, which it seems like everyone here has done, but I would like to encourage you to continue to do, then we cannot tell anyone else to do so. We are in no place to do that if we cannot do that. But as I look at these signs, from an occupation that spans before 1948, almost a decade, y'all. If not, some would consider a decade, from 1999. Or 1919, excuse me, sorry. And our inability to be able to talk about what we need to talk about as human beings, as people. If we take all of that and we compare it to the amount of time that we've been able to talk about this now, it seems massive. It seems insurmountable. It seems like we cannot do it. And that's how the enemy wants it to seem. They want us to believe that we cannot do it. They want us to believe that we are individuals, that we are separate. That's right. But people driving by see us, and they're connected to us. And we are not separate. We will never be separate. We will always be unified. And our numbers will grow. The cause will grow. Our heart will grow, and our humanity will grow because it needs to.
Yes.
Otherwise, thank you. Otherwise, we will go backwards. If we do not connect, if we do not take further action, if we do not continue this momentum that not only we are a part of, but the encampments are a part of, and the protests before us are a part of, then it will cease. And that's not the ceasefire we want. We want a ceasefire. We want an end to the occupation.
Yes.
We want an end to colonialism.
Yes.
It's all connected, y'all. Here, abroad, Sudan, Congo. Yeah. Give it up for them. Every time. We need that positive reinforcement and encouragement. We need an end to that. This is a nexus. This is a point in our life. And each time we have these points in our lives, we can regress or we can go forward. But we have a new beginning here in which we can talk about it, in which we can coalesce, in which we can continue to take action. If you have not gotten a QR code, or taken a QR code, or taken a picture about further action that you can take, it's okay, you can cheer for them. You should. And you also should take one of those. If you have, you can see Derek right there. They're holding it up. Because this is very important. This rally is immensely important. But, as we've said before, we will regress if we do not carry the momentum that we need to carry. If we do not take the action that we need to take. We're all here, and we're all a community. We all got each other's back. And I want you all to leave here knowing that and talking to your community members. I thank you guys for taking the energy and waking out of our slumber so that Palestinians can finally sleep well. This will happen in our lifetime as long as we do the work. Make sure to get your emails to Derek too. Get home safe. Continue the action that you are doing. I am so damn proud of each and every one of you. Yeah. We're going to do some chants to end this off, because remember, we're not ending. We're just continuing on. That's right. Love you all.
United will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated! Not another nickel, not another dime, no more money for Israel's crimes! Not another nickel, not another dime, no more money for Israel's crimes!
Not another nickel, not another dime. No more money for Israel's crimes. Not another nickel, not another dime. No more money for Israel's crimes.
There is only one solution!
There is only one solution.
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution.
There is only one solution!
There is only one solution.
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine.
Two words. Any of you who are in Asbury Park as a resident, please email the members of the council and ask them to pass a ceasefire resolution. And Katie Halper has asked that the very last word belong to Palestine.
Oh yeah.
So, she will explain.
Actually, hi everyone. And by the way, when all these people say, talk about human shields or whatever, just tell them Israel uses human shields. That's been documented. And also tell them that Israel has killed more hostages than they've freed. So even we know that they don't care about Palestinians, but they don't even know how to do their job, which is caring about apparently Jewish life, because they are more committed to killing Palestinians than to saving Jewish lives, or else they'd be negotiating and get hostages released. Okay, but that's not what I wanted to say. I host two shows. One is called Useful Idiots, and one is called The Katie Halper Show. And I was able to, on one of them, interview Rafat Al-Arir. And the late Rafat Al-Arir, who, as you know, was murdered by Israel in December, and it was targeted They targeted his sister's building. They knew where he was. He had just left a center because he didn't want to put people at risk because he knew he was being hunted. And they targeted her apartment. So they didn't bomb the entire building. They just bombed her apartment because they wanted to kill Rafat Al-Abir because he was such a powerful voice. And as I said earlier, his granddaughter and daughter and son-in-law were just killed this week. So when we were corresponding over email, this is from October, I said, is there anything we can do from over here? And he said, thank you for offering. More pressure on the media, more coverage, more Palestinian voices, more protests. Hopefully Israel is curbed ASAP. And so we're here, we're protesting, and I also wanted to read his poem because he said, uplift Palestinian voices. And so I wanted to leave us with this. If I must die, this is by Rafat Al-Abir. If I must die, you must live, to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze, and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment of an angel is there. And thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die. Yes, that's right. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it be a town.
Thank you, all of you, for coming out this afternoon, for your voices, for your commitment, for your unity. Do not stop.
That's right.
And we will not stop. There will be more opportunities to gather and protest. And thank you for braving the chilly weather and keeping one another warm with your passion and commitment.
Thank you also.
And as you walk back to your cars, make sure people see your signs.